welcome back. Today we're reviewing the MTH HO scale Allegheny steam engine. This is a Chesapeake and Ohio steam locomotive. Road number is 1604. It's equipped with DCC DCS Protosound 3.0. Item number is 80-3250-1. MSRP $649.95. Or if you want the 3E Plus version, which is Markland friendly, that would be $679.95 for the MSRP. But keep in mind the online retailers such as trainworld.com or your brick and mortar hobby shops in your local area will have discounts off this price, perhaps, and you can get a better deal than those MSRPs. But let's talk about some details here. First of all, like I already mentioned, they're available in the sound version or the 3E Plus version, which is Markland friendly but still has sound in it. You've got different road numbers. There are 1601, 1604, 1610, and 1618. You've got lots of options to buy at the MTH authorized retailers. Let's go ahead and unbox this locomotive and see what we have inside. Classic black and orange MTH box here with a nice glossy cover. You've got several pieces of packaging, and in the package you've got DCS, a little pamphlet talking about DCS, and then you have the quick start manual here, MTH quick start manual for the steam locomotive. Getting into the steam locomotive itself, before I completely unbox this, I want to change views so you get a better view of the whole thing, and we'll get into it. Well, we just unboxed the smoke and the little hex nut driver, but we'll go ahead and change views before we get this unboxed. So the smoke fluid and the hex nut driver here just came out of this pouch area here. Over here in this pouch area we have drive wheel without traction tire installed. That's an option for those who don't like the traction tires. Got the locomotive here, encased in plastic and foam. Definitely a heavy locomotive. And the tender. I always like to talk about the first thing that pops out at me. I really like the coal load in the tender. It looks realistic. I'll get these pieces out of the way. We'll slide this locomotive out of the box here. Nice white running board stripes. Nice robust locomotive. Oh boy, look, that is a heavy guy there. There's the locomotive. Just upon inspection, right outside the box, I don't see anything coming out, broken parts, or anything missing yet. Don't think that'll be the case. I did a good job packaging. Now we're going to unbox this tender here. Nice rivet detail on the tender as well. So there we have the two pieces of this locomotive. Now we're going to go ahead and cover some detail and specs. Let's go ahead and weigh this so we can get a good weight on the locomotive. 758 grams. 26.7 ounces, 1 pound 10.7 ounces is what that equates to. 0.758 kilograms, and again there are 758 grams. Now I'm going to go ahead and add this tender on there so you have the total weight. That brings it up to 1075 grams, 1075 grams, 37.9 ounces, 2 pounds 5.9 ounces, 1.075 kilograms. So really large weigh in. This is definitely a weighty locomotive, coming in at well over 2 pounds. Let's go over some detail. Working our way up front with some detail, you've got the bell, there are lit number boards here, the boiler, smoke box door I should say. There's a platform here with safety tread. There's an LED headlight, handrails up front, coupler cut levers, a metal coupler, the white striping along the side here of the platform. All the handrails and ladders are nicely done, very sturdy, appears to be metal all the way around. The flying number boards are nicely done too, and they're backlit. The classification lights, if MTH sticks with their normal prototype or normal protocol on steam locomotives, those are lit classification lights. We'll check that later in operation, but those lit classification lights separate them from several manufacturers, because I don't see many manufacturers in steam that have lit classification lights. There's a smoke unit here, and it should produce smoke, pretty nice smoke from that proto smoke that MTH provides We will take a look at that later in operation. You've got all the side rods here, nicely detailed, white walled tires. There's no broken paint along these running boards with the white running boards or the white wall tires. You've got the lead trucks here and all these trucks, or all these drivers that are nicely done. If I flip this over real quick, you can see that they put the traction tire on the back set of tires. For those who wanted to know, that'll give extra traction to help with extra pull. And we'll do a pull test later as well. Looking along the top, you get the boiler dome, sand dome, nicely done there. A lot of details along the side. This handrail here is also real sturdy. This handrail for the crews to walk alongside this area. The whistle, a lot of the detail up top is nicely done. You've got an adjustable cab vent here. It slides open, or you can close it, different positions. The windows here, I believe, are adjustable, maybe not. Not sure about that one. Sometimes I can't get things going. Maybe they're not adjustable, but they do have cab figures inside there. It's hard to catch the cab figures, but if I turn it this way, you can see those guys in there. And we'll go ahead and flip around the other side and cover some quick detail. Back here at the firebox, you can see a lot of the rivet detail. There's rivet detail along the sides here in a thin area that's accurate for the prototype. One thing I couldn't really get a good view of is the inside detail. They do have detail of the valves and gauges inside, so that's nicely done as well. Working our way up, you see the builder's plate. Try to get a good zoom in on that, but camera is sometimes difficult. It doesn't want to cooperate, but the builder's plate is there. Everything's legible there. You see lift rings in certain areas. Just a lot of detail popping out on this locomotive, and then weight to match along with that. So that's about it for detail. I'm trying to go quickly, just cover a few things. We'll get in operation right now. I got ahead of myself a little bit. We still need to cover detail on the tender. You've got some realistic coal load here, real nicely done. You've got hatches that reveal volume adjustments, I believe, and possibly some other adjustments under here. Not operational other than to reveal those adjustments. There's a little Phillips head screw head in there that you can adjust some things. Chesapeake and Ohio, all the rivet detail raining down along the side. You can really tell pops out, looks nice. I'm leaving fingerprints on this thing, but other than that, you've got some nice truck detail. Flipping this around to the back, you've got the rear of the tender has the cab number, the gallon capacity, and the tons. 25,000 gallons, 25 tons. And the ladder, rear LED headlight there. And then you've got the coupler back here, which is the MTH remote control coupler. You can actually operate that from your DCC controller to open and close. On the other side, same thing, nothing special. Here's the front end of the locomotive, or of the tender. Looks nicely detailed. And look at these two prongs right here. These simply connect to the locomotive. So I'll show you that real quick. So the easiest I've ever had to connect a tender to a locomotive, simply raise the prongs up, seat them in one of two positions, the closer positions for smaller radius curves. I'll cover radius curves here in a bit, or show it on the screen, but I'm going to put it in the further position just so we have plenty of operation and no snags, because I'm running on easy track temporarily until I get my layout going. So there they are. Oops, I got them off center. There they are, hooked up. So simply done, ready to go for operation. First order of business is simply applying track power. So I'll do that now. And then I'm going to hit F3, which will turn the locomotive sounds on. It's a startup for MTH products, startup sequence. So here we go. First thing I notice is there's smoke coming out of both stacks. There are a couple of sounds here. Let's go ahead and
Don't need to
start.
send out the dog catcher if we don't stay on schedule.
There's some cab chatter there. F1 is bell. See, it tapers off. Let's do the whistle. Whistle also tapers off. F3, as I mentioned before, is the startup and shutdown sequence. F4 is the passenger freight announcement.
We better drop off our Outlaws at the next stop.
F5 handles some lighting. F6 handles volume. So you can rapidly press it to change volume. So I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to do so we can continue the review. Drop the sound down just a little bit with F6. I want to go ahead and go over the grade crossing sequence. Here it is, F11. Well, there's the grade crossing sequence. Lots of other functions, but in the essence of time, I'm going to go ahead and move along because the last review I did ended up a little bit long, and I want to make sure you guys have a concise, quick, but effective ability to judge this review and this product and whether you want it or not. Smoke unit's doing fine. There's functions that can change the output of smoke. It's a little hard to catch in this video on this gray background. I'll go ahead and lift it up a little bit. You can see the smoke rising above the gray background there. So it's providing ample amounts of smoke. We'll go ahead and start moving this locomotive forward and backwards. Handle some lighting and change the view so you can see the front lighting, the lit number boards, and other lighting functions of this locomotive. So you've got the headlight lit. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on the number boards and the classification lights, F5. As you can see, you have lit classification lights, lit number boards. Number boards blaring a little bit more, glaring a little bit more on film than it is in real life. I think it's a real good backlight for those number boards, not shining through too much. There is a single point of shine through, but it's not glaring really bad in real life. The lit classification lights, like I mentioned before, is something that MTH does extremely well, separates themselves from many manufacturers in that standpoint because they actually go through the effort of lighting the classification lights, which is accurate for the prototype. Obviously, the classification lights were lit. Now, you've got the headlight is basically a pure white. I don't see any type of hue to it, like the blue hue that sometimes comes in LEDs isn't there. Let's go ahead and move this thing, zoom back out, and move in slow fashion. See how it moves at very slow speeds. That's 2 speed steps right there. Synchronized puffing smoke. Four chuffs per revolution. Well, technically, it's a little off because it's articulated, so it should have chuffs going in and out of sync, which is accurate. A real excellent speed control. Let's go in reverse and see how it is at the real slow speeds. See, you hear the chuffs going in and out of sync, which is accurate for an articulated steam locomotive. It's 5 speed steps there. So nice speed control, nice motor control from MTH. Let's go ahead and go for a little bit of a run. I'm going to back it up, come around the curve, and the camera will go with me as we follow this locomotive down the line a bit. It's about 10 speed steps. Hear those drivers working as you increase speed. Have a little rear end action here going backwards. Check the motor control that way for a little bit of a period of time. One of the last tests is the pull test. Tell us exactly how much this pulling power on this locomotive is. I'm going to go ahead and zero it out here. Got 7.2, which is phenomenal. So that's a lot of pulling power. Good comparison is the SD70 ACE and the newest ES44 AC, which are great pullers in diesel, are in the 4 range, 3.8 to 4.2 range. This is 7.2. So real great pulling power from this. This should be able to pull a couple dead cows and a horse or two. It's just probably one of the highest rated pulls, 7.2 ounces I've seen on a steam locomotive. I'll verify that off film, make sure that's correct. If it's not, I'll come back with you, but we'll wrap this review up other than that. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this review up. Before we start with the recap, I did recheck the pulling power. I put it on straight track. I made sure everything was on the track, all wheels were on the track. Double checked everything I could, came up with 7.4 ounces of pulling power, which is even better than the 7.2 I just reported a second ago. I was on a slight curve. I wanted to make sure I gave it a complete, fair, and objective pull test, so that's what we came up with. Now let's cover some details of this locomotive. Obviously we talked about MSRP being $649.95 or $679.95 for the Markland 3E Plus versions. They have great sound. There's a lot of great features. Some I didn't cover in the detail. You know, everything's die cast. It's got that traction tire, which obviously is contributing to that huge 7.4 pull test. It's got the real coal load. It has RP25 metal wheels. You've got the sprung drivers. It's got number 158 KD whisker couplers. Prototypical Rule 17 lighting. For those of you who don't know what Rule 17 lighting is, it's a railroad rule that says there has to be, the headlight has to be on a certain brightness, at least on at all times, even when it's not at full brightness. So it dims and then it goes into full brightness when you move. Also, the motor behind this puppy is a powerful, a 5-pool precision flywheel equipped skew wound motor. It has the synchronized puffing smoke we talked about. We talked about the wireless drawbar. It operates on code 70, 83, and 100 track. And the minimum radius, which I wasn't able to tell you earlier, is 22-inch radius curves. Now, real quick dimensions. I don't talk about dimensions all the time, but this unit measures 18 inches by 1 and 5/8 inches by 2 1/4 inches. So Those are the dimensions if you're looking to operate, but you should be more concerned with that minimum operating radius of 22, which for a locomotive this length, talking 18 inches long, is pretty good to be able to operate on 22, and I'm sure that articulated ability helps that. Proto 3.0 sound, which is really great. I think it's a great product. Definitely a heavy puller, so you would be able to pull pretty much anything you want, just like the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad wanted these locomotives prototypically to be able to pull things over the mountain ranges and things like that. You'll be able to pull things over your mountain ranges on your layout. That's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time right here on my channel. Take care.